Ben. "But I was going to—" "Please take your seat, Mr. Richards. We must examine the rest of these notes. Simple fairness to the men who have already been exposed requires this. As soon as that has been done, I give you my word for this, you shall be heard." Many voices. "Right! The chair's right. No interruption can be permitted at this stage. Go on! The names, according to the terms of the motion." The old couple sat reluctantly down, and the husband whispered to the wife, "It is pitifully hard to have to wait. The shame will be greater than ever when they find we were only going to plead for ourselves." Straightway the jollity broke loose again with the reading of the names. "You are far from being a bad man. Signature, Robert J. Titmarsh." "You are far from being a bad man. Signature, Eliphalet Weeks." "You are far from being a bad man. Signature, Oscar B. Wilder." At this point the House lit upon the idea of taking the 8 words out of the chairman's hands. He was not unthankful for that. Thenceforward he held up each note in its turn and waited. The House droned out the 8 words in a massed and measured and musical deep volume of sound, with a daringly close resemblance to a well-known church chant. "You are far from being a bad man." Then the chair said, "Signature, Archibald Wilcox," and so on, name after name, and everybody had an increasingly and gloriously good time, except the wretched 19. Now and then, when a particularly shining name was called, the House made the chair wait while it chanted the whole of the test remark from the beginning to the closing words. "And go to hell or Hadleyburg, try and make it the former." And in these special cases they added a grand and agonized and imposing "Amen." The list dwindled. Poor old Richards keeping tally of the count, wincing when a name resembling his own was pronounced, and waiting in miserable suspense for the time to come when it would be his humiliating privilege to rise with Mary and finish his plea, which he was intending to word thus: "For until now we have never done any wrong thing, but have gone our humble way unreproached. We are very poor, we are old, and have no chick nor child to help us. We were sorely tempted, and we fell. It was my purpose, when I got up before, to make confession and beg that my name might not be read out in this public place, for it seemed to us that we could not bear it. But I was prevented. It was just. It was our place to suffer with the rest. It has been hard for us. It is the first time we have ever heard our name fall from any one's lips sullied. Be merciful. For the sake of the better days, make our shame as light to bear as in your charity you can." At this point in his reverie Mary nudged him, perceiving that his mind was absent. The House was chanting, "You are far," and so forth. "Be ready," Mary whispered. "Your name comes now. He has read 18. The chant ended. "Next! Next! Next!" came volleying from all over the House. Burgess put his hand into his pocket. The old couple, trembling, began to rise. Burgess fumbled a moment, then said, "I find I have read them all." Faint with joy and surprise, the couple sank into their seats, and Mary whispered, "Oh, bless God, we are saved! He has lost ours. I wouldn't give this for 100 of those sacks." The House burst out with its Mikado travesty, and sang it 3 times with ever-increasing enthusiasm, rising to its feet when it reached for the 3rd time the closing line, "But the symbols are here, you bet," and finishing up with cheers and a tiger for Hadleyburg purity and our 18 immortal representatives of it. Then Wingate the saddler got up and proposed cheers "for the cleanest man in town, the one solitary important citizen in it who didn't try to steal that money, Edward Richards." They were given with great and moving heartiness. Then somebody proposed that Richards be elected sole guardian and symbol of the now sacred Hadleyburg tradition, with power and right to stand up and look the whole sarcastic world in the face. Passed by acclamation. Then they sang the Mikado again, and ended it with, "And there's one symbol left, you bet." There was a pause. Then a voice. "Now then, who's to get the sack?" The tanner, with bitter sarcasm. "That's easy. The money has to be divided among the 18 incorruptibles. They gave the suffering stranger $20 apiece, and that remark, 'each in his turn.' It took 22 minutes for the procession to move past. Stake the stranger. Total contribution, $360. All they want is just the loan back and interest. $40,000 altogether." Many voices derisively. "That's it! Divvy! Divvy! Be kind to the poor! Don't keep them waiting!" The Chair. "Order! I now offer the stranger's remaining document. It says, 'If no claimant shall appear,'" grand chorus of groans, "'I desire that you open the sack and count out the money to the principal citizens of your town. They to take it in trust,' cries of 'Oh! Oh! Oh!' "'and use it in such ways as to them shall seem best for the propagation and preservation of your community's noble reputation for incorruptible honesty." More cries. "A reputation to which their names and their efforts will add a new and far-reaching lustre." Enthusiastic outburst of sarcastic applause. That seems to be all. No, here is a postscript. "P.S. Citizens of Hadleyburg. There is no test remark. Nobody made one. Great sensation. There wasn't any pauper stranger, nor any $20 contribution, nor any accompanying benediction and compliments. These are all inventions." General buzz and hum of astonishment and delight. "Allow me to tell my story. It will take but a word or two. I passed through your town at a certain time, and received a deep offence which I had not earned. Any other man would have been content to kill one or two of you and call it square. But to me that would have been a trivial revenge, and inadequate, for the dead do not suffer. Besides, I could not kill you all, and anyway, made as I am, even that would not have satisfied me. I wanted to damage every man in the place, and every woman, and not in their bodies or in their estate, but in their vanity, the place where feeble and foolish people are most vulnerable. So I disguised myself and came back and studied you. You were easy game. You had an old and lofty reputation for honesty, and naturally you were proud of it. It was your treasure of treasures, the very apple of your eye. As soon as I found out that you carefully and vigilantly kept yourselves and your children out of temptation, I knew how to proceed. Why, you simple creatures, the weakest of all weak things is a virtue which has not been tested in the fire. I laid a plan and gathered a list of names. My project was to corrupt Hadleyburg the incorruptible. My idea was to make liars and thieves of nearly 100 smirchless men and women who had never in their lives uttered a lie or stolen a penny. I was afraid of Goodson. He was neither born nor reared in Hadleyburg. I was afraid that if I started to operate my scheme by getting my letter laid before you, you would say to yourselves, "Goodson is the only man among us who would give away $20 to a poor devil," and then you might not bite at my bait. But Heaven took Goodson. Then I knew I was safe, and set my trap and baited it. It may be that I shall not catch all the men to whom I mail the pretended test secret, but I shall catch the most of them, if I know Hadleyburg nature. Voices. Right! He got every last one of them. I believe